Life to bringing her precious little boy out of his closed world into hers, and says his transformation is nothing short of a miracle. You're going to meet Roman. We're going to talk to Roman. We're going to find out how she did it and what other parents can learn from her son's remarkable journey.
I could literally start seeing the symptoms overtaking him, and he was beginning to slip away right before my eyes.
In the first few months of life, Elizabeth Scott's baby boy started exhibiting strange symptoms.
He couldn't eat without constantly choking on food. He began fixating or staring at ceiling fans, flags, and lights. He didn't want to be touched except by me, and he was afraid to touch a lot of normal objects.
At 18 months, she finally had a name for her son's behaviors: pervasive developmental disorder, a form of autism that delays development and socialization.
I knew when they said the A word, we were in so much trouble. So, you know, my heart was broken. I was just so devastated.
But instead of retreating into fear, Elizabeth took things into her own hands. She quit her job as a teacher and spent 10 hours a day, every day for 3 years, trying to lure Roman out of his symptoms. I
applied the techniques the therapist taught me and began working on things with him that he could not do or was afraid to do. Elizabeth says together she and Roman did 78 different drills methodically throughout the day to build his confidence. Never a moment wasted. They worked from bath time to bedtime. Roman was afraid to take a shower or stand in the rain. To overcome that, I would take handfuls of water and I would sprinkle it over his head while I was in the bathtub. And then I progressed to a cup of water. In about 2 months, he could tolerate the water coming down on his face. She turned the family room into a workspace with puzzles for fine motor skills and word charts for language development, and then glimmers of hope. After about 4 months, I started seeing a couple of the symptoms go away. I'm like, wow, he's not rolling his hands anymore. By age 4, Roman no longer tested on the autism spectrum. While there are cases of overcoming symptoms of autism in medical literature, it is still rare. And while there is no cure for autism, Roman's pediatrician is impressed.
Over the course of the past 6 years, he has improved dramatically. So I'm not exactly sure what happened in his brain, but I do know had she not done what she did then, that he would not be at the point where he is today.
This must be what it's like for an Olympic athlete to win the gold. This was the gold for my child's life. I said, wow, we did it.
And Elizabeth Burton Scott wrote a book about Roman's incredible transformation and how she helped him. It's called Raindrops on Roman. And Elizabeth and Roman are here in our studio with us. Dr. Besser is here with us too. I see we're wearing the same colors there, Roman. Very good. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Robin.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
And Elizabeth, my goodness, he is so precious. And first of all, you were blessed, you were fortunate that you were able to leave your work because you had the support of your husband, Roman's father, who could help out as well. And but 3 years, 10 hours a day?
Yes.
What was the most difficult aspect?
The whole thing was difficult because I was so afraid. I was terrified of losing my son to autism. And I literally would pray over him every night and ask God to heal him and to show me what I needed to do to help him. And I was like, God, please don't take him from me. Please don't take him from me. And then I went to work. You know, I said, you know, show me what I need to do, help me to do it, and we just tackled each and every one of those symptoms. But I was truly, truly devastated.
There are numerous symptoms. Give us, again, we saw just moments ago some of the examples, but give us more examples of what was going on and how you broke it down.
Well, he couldn't talk, for example, and so we did a lot of language drills with him. Every single day I read about 10 board books and picture books a day to him, and I would name different objects on the page and make him repeat them. And then once he learned how to say one word, I progressed to 3- and 4-word sentences. Or when he fixated on objects, I would replace the negative behaviors with something meaningful, learning activities and meaningful play, like puzzles and board books and Play-Doh. So we had to redirect anything negative to something positive, and that's how we were able to overcome each symptom.
Roman, what are some things you like to do?
I like to take apart computers and put them back together again. And I like to build houses on my blocks.
And I understand you're a little athlete too. You played sports?
Yes, I do.
What, basketball?
And soccer.
And soccer. All right. Well, quite a little athlete. But I love the computer part. Many of us cannot do that. Fantastic. Rich, we heard from Elizabeth's doctor. You're a pediatrician.
That's right.
And how do you explain this?
I mean, it's just a wonderful story. When you talk about autism, you're not talking about one thing, you're talking about a wide spectrum. And there's more and more literature now that says that early diagnosis and early intensive treatment can lead to improvements. And the way autism is diagnosed, it's not a blood test, it is a checklist of symptoms. And what Elizabeth was talking about was going through each symptom and working to improve that, so that he reached a point where he no longer met the diagnosis of autism.
Of course, there are a lot of parents who would like to have a similar outcome from Elizabeth, but they're not able to leave their jobs. They can't give the 10 hours a day working as she so diligently did with Roman. What can they do?
Well, you know, a couple things. One is that all children will not respond the same way. This is just a wonderful story. The key is picking it up early, and so looking for those signs. You know, a child who's not making good eye contact with their mother, a child who's not speaking a couple words at a year or putting words together at 2 years, and a child who has repetitive movements. Those are signs that you should bring to your doctor so you can get picked up early and you can get the treatment.
And Elizabeth, your final message to parents who are watching this morning?
Well, we wrote a book called The Autism Recovery Manual of Skills and Drills, and we really detailed everything we did to overcome his symptoms. And I co-authored it with an occupational therapist named Lynn Gillis. So in detail, parents, this will give them hope. And if they want to know how I did it, that's exactly how we did it.
Thank you. And we'll link them to our website on how to get that.
Thank
Roman,
you so much.
very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Rich,
Thank
you so much. And we're going to keep talking. We'll be right back. I do love that red sweater. It brings out the...